I think he's recording. It's there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the edit chart of accounts, then we have created chart of accounts and we have assigned to our company code. Now the properties relevant to the chart of accounts will be maintained here in the define account groups. What does it control? Right, at the time of creating the master data, you might have seen couple of fields, right? Description, control date, all those things, bank interest and all those things, right? So if I want to keep certain data as required field or suppress or those kind of things, I mean, it is just like a field status for GL master that also can be controlled here in the define account group. So let's get into that define account group. The path for this is IMG, financial accounting, general ledger accounting, master data, GL accounts, preparations, and assign company code to chart of accounts. Just execute. Sorry, we have completed this part. Then the define account group. So define account group, just execute. Here we have chart of accounts C. The chart of account is there. I mean, I'm just giving the information about it. The chart of account is linked to account group, and account group will control the GL range. It means whenever I'm creating any GL using this account group, system will allow me to enter any number within this range. If I try to enter 3 series, then system will stop me there itself, because this account group basically has this range. And if you go further, you will see each and everything: assets, expenses, income, liability. This does not have complete information. And here expenses, incomes, liabilities, material, of course this also, you know, does not have the complete information. So basically you need to have, you know, the secondary cost elements. I'm not finding exactly the secondary cost elements over here. Let me see that. Okay, that's fine. So we can create our own and we can discuss all of them. I don't see the secondary cost elements here, but typically we need to have secondary cost elements, also the range for secondary cost elements. That's fine. So let me open an Excel sheet and we'll discuss. Let me open an Excel sheet. Okay, now account groups. As I mentioned, basically we have assets, liabilities, incomes, and expenses. And also we can have the secondary cost elements. Okay, we can also see the secondary cost elements. Now assets, how do you want to do? Do you want to keep 1 lakh to 1 lakh 99,999 just one group, or how do you want? Within the asset, I want separate list. Like for fixed assets, I want to keep one range. I would say that 1 lakh to 1 lakh 19,999. It means I want to have all my fixed assets, the GL range should be this thing. And I would say all my current assets,
Hello. Hello. Yes.
yeah. Okay, so fixed assets, I'm not going to keep one range for the entire all the set of assets. Within assets, I may keep one range for fixed assets, or else I'll keep for cash and bank. I may keep 2 lakh 20,000. 20,000 to, sorry, 1,20,000 to, I would say 1,39,999. And I would say other assets 1,40,000 to for 1,99,999. Or I can further segregate. For debtors, I'll keep one range. Let's keep the same thing. For debtors, I'll keep a range. I'll say 1,40,000 to 1,49,999. Like stock, all others, I can keep one other range. So the totally it's the business call how the business wants, this thing. Okay, so I have the same range 1 lakh to 1,99,999, but still I'm keeping further segregation within the assets. Similarly, in the case of liabilities, I would say 2 lakhs is my range, 2 lakhs to 2,99,999. And within the liability, I would say share capital, I would say 2 lakhs, 2,09,999. Okay, then similarly, I would say reserves, I would say 2,10,000 to 2,19,999. Then I would say creditors 2,20,000 to 2,29,999. Other liabilities, if you want, you can keep furthermore 2,30,000 to 2,99,999. Then coming to the incomes, I would say for incomes 4 lakhs. It does not mean to have a sequence number. So one series for assets, two series for liabilities, four series for income, six series for expenses. I can keep whatever the range I want. Or three series for incomes, four series for expenses. We can do in any way. So let me take incomes as four series, 4 lakh to 4 lakh 99,999. Similarly, expenses, I'll say 5 lakhs to 5 lakh 99,999. So within this, I would further split into multiples direct sales, or I would say domestic sales, or trade sales. I will say trade sales 4 lakh to 4 lakh 29,999. Then I would say other sales 4 lakh 30,000 to 4 lakh 49,999. Then I would say interest and interest, I would say 4 lakh 50,000 to 4 lakh 59,999. Then other income 4 lakh 60,000 to 4 lakh 99,999. Then coming to the expenses, I would say material consumption, okay, 5 lakhs to 5 lakh 19,999. Then I would say office expenses 5 lakh 20,000 to 549,999. Admin expenses 5 lakh 50,000 to 5 lakh 59,990. I'm just giving some elaboration. Sales expenses, I would say 5 lakh 60,000 to 5 lakh 79,999. Other expenses 5 lakh 80,000 to 5 lakh 99,999. Sales expenses. Okay, that way I'm keeping the further segregation. Now all my secondary cost element, I would say some 9 lakh series, 9 lakh to 9,99,999. Okay, so that way I can maintain the relevant range. So let's create this group here in our SAP. Okay, so I'm just creating new entries. Yeah, one more thing I just want to tell you here. So we have been discussing about the chart of accounts and the account groups, and we also discussed about the range. Apart from that, I said it also controls the field status. So I'm selecting a particular group, going into the field status, you will see. These are the fields that you can find while creating the GL master. Suppose if I double click on the control, account control, you have currency, tax category, reconciliation. You can find these fields at the time of creating the master data, GL master data. Now here you have four options, as I said, right? Suppress, required, optional, and display. What is display? Display is just a grayed out field. System will not allow you to enter anything in that field. It is just a display field. You will not enter anything. That's called display. Optional, you know, and what is required, what is suppressed, you know. Okay, so these are the fields that you can see at the time of master data, account management. You can see all these amounts, all these things. Okay, so this is what basically this controls the GL master data. So to have our own, go to new entries, I would say 1248 and account group. Give some name to first. What is our first group? Ours is fixed assets. I'll just say FIAS, fixed assets. And what is our range? This is our range. So let me take this range. I'm just copying this range and put it over here. And what is the other one? I mean fixed assets, cash, bank. These are the ones. Okay, I'm just entering them. I would say 1248 and cash and bank, right? CA, BA. Just I'm giving a code, debtors, other asset 1248, 1248. That's it. Okay, and similarly, let us maintain for liabilities. So these are the groups that we are going to have, and take the range, take the range of that, and here share capital SHCA. You can give any code, creditors, other liability 1248, 1248, 1248, 1248. Okay, fine. So I have maintained assets and liabilities. Now similarly, sales. So trade sales, other sales, interest, other income. Okay, then coming to the expenses, coming to the expenses, expenses, I'm entering the expenses, material consumption, 1248, 1248, material consumption, office expense, admin, sales expense, and other expense. Okay, so I'm just saving. Okay, now if you want to keep certain fields as important or whatever you want, you can keep them. So just select the same thing, double go to the field status. What happened? It's not happening. Okay, I'm just going here. I'm selecting as 1248. This is the one. Select the same thing. Select the field status. And if you want certain fields as required, certain fields as display, you can keep. Okay, so you can understand clearly, right? So while creating the GL master, you will find all these fields. If I just say reconciliation account ready for input, field status group, all you can see. Now what I'll do for field status group, I'll keep it as required. Okay, I'm just keeping field status as required field. In all the cases, I'll do the same thing. I'm just selecting here, going into document entry, field status group, I'll say required. Next, creditors, in all the cases, required entry, this one. Okay, like that, you can keep for everything. So whatever the fields that you really require, we can keep all of them. Just I have maintained few. So also I'll maintain for expenses. In fact, we have to do for all of them. Just for our convenience, I've just maintained for few. Okay, I'll maintain the required thing little later. Back. So define account group. So why do we require an account group? In order to create a particular GL, basically we require two things. One is the chart of accounts. Within the chart of accounts, we need to have the account groups. Now, since we have already assigned this chart of accounts to our company code, directly we can create our GL master in the company code. Or normally you can have the other option. You can create all chart of accounts. I'll just tell you one thing. One important thing that you need to understand here. Let's say our chart of accounts is 1248. This is our chart of accounts, right? Now I have company codes. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have. Now let's say I have a salaries account which is 4 lakhs created here in this company code. You have 4 lakhs in this company code. So do you want to have the same 4 lakhs across all the company codes, or do you want to have it different? It means 4 lakhs will be the salary account in company code 1. The same 4 lakhs will be rent account in company code 3. Same 4 lakhs may be a different, let's say wages in company code 6. If you want that, or you want 4 lakhs will be linked to all the company codes as salaries account. How do you want to do? Normal, the best practice is to consider the same code for same description, same code for all the company codes. It means 4 lakhs salary will be in all these company codes. Maybe company code 5 may not require the salaries account, but still 4 lakhs is reserved for salaries account. So the main advantage with it is you can see your consolidated reports comfortably, because let's say 4 lakhs is in one company code and 4 lakh 100 will be the salary account in company code 2, or else 4,10,000 is a salary account in company code 5. There is a lot of problem. So in the consolidation, they have to pick up individually. For company code 1, take this GL. For company code 2, take this GL. For 3, take this GL. For 5, take this GL. Like, they have to maintain lot of rules, and it is going to be cumbersome. To avoid that, what we will do is we will keep 4 lakhs as a salary account in all the company codes. If you want to have this thing, what we will have to do is, first this 4 lakh has to be created in the chart of accounts. We have two ways to create the chart, the GL. First is at the chart of accounts level, which is nothing but FSP0 at chart of accounts level. And the other one we have is FS00 at company code level, right? FSP0, FS00. In order to keep this 4 lakhs as a salary account in all the company codes, first create in FSP0, so that the same thing will be considered here in all the company codes. So remember, the GL master is created each of the company codes. You may not require few GLs in company code 1, which are required in company code 5, but still the same GL will be reserved for that. It will be reserved for that GL only. But if you want, you can change the description, but that is not the right approach to do. So in order to maintain a sequence, a systematic, firstly, we will have to create the GL at the chart of accounts level. The transaction code is FSP0, and the same thing will be extended to all company codes in FS00. Okay, so that is what we will have to do. Now, one important thing is the returned earnings account. Without creating the retained earnings account, system will not allow you to create any GL. So in order to proceed on the GL account, firstly, we will have to mention what is your returned earnings account, and accordingly you will have to create the same thing in FSP0 and FS00. I'll tell you how can we consider the same thing. I'll tell you. Now, before we get into that, what is the importance of returned earnings account? Why do we require a returned earnings account? Now, at the end of the year, let's say we have created a profit and loss account, right? On creating the profit and loss account, we will have net profit or net loss, right? Net profit or net loss. We will have net profit or net loss. Correct, net profit or net loss. Now, out of these net profits, we will be transferring that to a returned earnings account. It means we are treating them as our returned earnings account. So whatever the net profit or net loss you will have, all these will get adjusted against the returned earnings. What do you mean by returned earnings account? Returned earnings account is the cumulative of your net profit until the current year. What is net profit? Net profit is the profit earned by the company in the current year. So net profit talks about the current year, whereas returned earnings account talks about the cumulative value until now. Cumulative net profit until now. That is what returned earnings talk about. Okay. Now, so this returned earnings account creation is the foremost general GL that we need to create. Without that, system will not allow us to create any other GLs. Okay. So how do we get this, the amounts of the net profit into returned earnings account? This is with the help of year end activity, carry forward balances. there is one of the month end activities, sorry, year end activities. By performing that activity, which is nothing but carry forward balances, by performing this activity, the amount of the net profit will get transferred to return earnings account. Okay, so for that reason, first we will have to create the return earnings account. So path is same. Here we have not created, but I'm going to mention what is my return earnings account going to be. Our chart of accounts is 1248, and here profit and loss account, statement and account. So I'll say X. Why I'm saying X, that you will understand little later. Now, retained earnings account is a liability, and under which group does it come under? It comes under the reserves category. Okay, it comes under the reserves category. So what is the number that we are going to use? You can use any GL within this range. You can take any GL within this range. So I would go with 2,10,000. Okay. So this is not created yet, but still it is allowing 2,10,000. I'm just saving. Okay, 2,10,000 is created. Now the first and foremost important is we need to create this GL in FSP0 and FS00. That is important. Okay, that is important. Without creating that, it will not allow you to create any other GL. So I'm opening a fresh transaction, fresh screen, going into accounting, financial accounting, general ledger, master records, GL accounts, individual processing. You see here FS00, FSP0. FSP0 in chart of accounts, FS00 centrally. It means FS00 will be the combination of FSP0 and FSSO. So first we will create the 2,10,000 which we have assigned as which we have considered as a retained earnings account in chart of accounts. So FSP0 path we have discussed. Double click on this. Here chart of accounts is 1 to 4. We are make sure that you are in our chart of accounts. If not, you have an option here. So select here, take the relevant chart of accounts, just press enter. Okay, press enter. So since we are already there, that's fine. Now if you see over here, you can see GL accounts. What GL account do you want to consider? Okay, and a type description. Okay, I'm going back and entering FSP0. We are in chart of accounts 1248. Select one. Why this is not in the 2,10,000? Why? What happened to this? Why it is in the, okay, that's fine. So let me just go and try in FS00. Here I'm changing our company code. Our company code is 1248. So just select 1248. But in order to proceed the transactions, we need to have basic controlling also. The basic controlling configuration also should be in place. Okay, I'm just closing now. I'll be creating this. Create. I will say 2,10,000, and I'll say company code is 1248. Okay, just press enter. Here you have 2,10,000. Our GL account type is going to be balance sheet account. See, GL account type. This is the new concept we have here in the S4 system. Earlier, we didn't have this thing at all, GL account type. These four are the standard system, SAP standard GL account types. If it is a balance sheet, take the balance sheet. If it is a non-operating expenses or incomes, what are non-operating expenses incomes? If you want to create certain GLs as GLs only, not to consider them as cost elements, then create under this. Okay, you can find that in the when we are doing the product costing, you will come to know what kind of GL that we are going to cover. All other expenses incomes which you want to consider as a cost element, in such a case select this thing, and in the case of secondary cost element select this thing. So since we are creating a return earnings account which is a balance sheet, select the same thing. Now pick up the relevant account group. Now the account group for this is reserves. Select. If you select other than this, system will stop you there itself. System will not allow you to do that. Say account group is within that range. So select the relevant range, relevant account group. So short description going to be retained earnings account. Okay. So since we are doing in the centrally, you can see type description, control data, interest and banking, interest bank, so create bank interest. Okay, so trading partner, this is in the case of consolidation we will be using. If you want to have your consolidation things, then you need to create a group chart of accounts. Okay, and within that group chart of accounts, I mean, basically there you can see all of them. But at the moment we don't, just we can ignore. Control data, which currency do you want to use? If you want to use USD or something, you can keep. And if you want to see balances in local currency, yes, whatever the currency that we are posting, if you want that to be converted into local currency, select this. Okay, and we don't require tax category, all those stuff. And is this a managed open item managed? It is not. What are open item managed accounts? All clearing GLs, all intermediary GLs are considered as open item managed accounts, such as GRIR. And in the case of bank, you have some other GLs come up. You need to maintain all of them as open item managed account. Sort key in your report, how do you want to see? What is the sequence that you want to see? Then select that accordingly. So you can pick up, you can enter by posting date or something you can keep. Okay, so that's it at the moment. Now create bank interest. So let's see whether it is a required entry. It is not a required entry here. Why? Because we might not have considered the reserves as a required entry. If you go here, execute 1248 is our chart of accounts. And if you pick up reserves, double click on this document entry. Here it is not there. Now I'll say field status as a required entry, save it. Now here, go back, go back. I'm not going to save anything. FS00. Now you'll find that 2,10,000. Okay, and here balance sheet item, and this is a reserves, and select the retained earnings. Control data, in control data you can select the sort key as 001, and I'm selecting balance in local currency. If you go here, you can find in the required field. So this mark is considered as a required. So these are the field status group we have created. So I'm just selecting 001 Z001, which is a standard one, and I'm just saving. Okay, so this GL, the creation of this GL is important. Without that, we cannot proceed anywhere. Any questions? Okay, so that way we can see our chart of accounts, and the chart of accounts will have a link with company codes. We will have account groups and similarly defined returned earnings account. Returned earnings account creation is important. That's compulsory required. Without that, we cannot proceed further. Okay, so that's about the GL accounts. Coming to the document splitting. What is this document splitting? Okay, what is this document splitting? So shall I go ahead and continue? I just need some 10 to 15 minutes time to explain what is document splitting. Is that fine?
No, Raghu, I mean, Nanda, we can do it tomorrow
Okay,
because I'm
okay.
feeling so sleepy now.
Yeah, fine. So because this is most important topic,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah. So it will take 10 to 15 minutes just to explain what is document splitting and all.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
So
so let's
tomorrow,
do yeah
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah, we'll do tomorrow
Mm,
at the same time.
yeah. And Nanda, I
Mm-hmm.
have very small, I mean, I have one questions, from yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
If about the tax, there was like, account key NVV and MW1.
Mm-hmm.
On MW1, we were able to see the general, like, account assignment, like GL account assignment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in NVV, when you double click on it, I did not see that GL account because
No, no, no.
system.
Why? Why? Because it is saying the property says that no separate line item. Let
Okay.
me show you that. If I just go here, sorry, here, check and change settings for tax processing. What did you say the first one?
MW1,
MW1.
right?
Okay. So if you go here and going into details, it says a separate line item. It means separate line item. Separate line item in the sense, I want a tax amount to be shown separately. It means that is going to be one of the line items. So for this, we need to have a GL assignment. Suppose if you check NVV, right? NVV, and I'm just selecting the details. It is saying as distribute to relevant expenses. It means it is not expecting any separate line item. So in this case, no GL is required for it. Got it? So because of that, in OB40, you will not find NVV there.
So OB40, right?
Yeah, OB40 here, that is there here.
Calculation, posting. Okay.
Yeah, different tax accounts. If you see NVV, right? NVV
Yes.
you will not find here, but MW1, right? Yeah,
Yes.
what is MW1? You should be having this. See here, MW1,
Okay.
because it is expecting a line item for this.
Mm. And what was the previous screen? What is the menu path for the previous screen where I can see that, it's a separate line item or
That is in the tax processing.
basic?
We discussed that. We discussed.
Oh, yeah, yes. Check and
This
change
is the
setting
one.
for the text plus. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you clear my doubts. All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Thanks a lot. Thanks
Thank
everyone.
thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye.